Okay, just making sure because like I thought I started botting and stuff. I'm like, oh no, here we go again.
All right, well, that was perfect timing, Hyena, because what is going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Guys, I am really, really excited about today's show. We got a first ever special guest that I have been trying to get on for a while, but you know, he's a busy guy. He does another weekly podcast. He's got his own channel. So we finally have come together, and I can't wait to introduce him. As usual, guys, you know, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. And please, YouTube does not do their job when it comes to sharing the show. So share the show out there on whatever social media you talk games, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, MySpace. We don't care. Just get it out there, guys. But on that note, let's get into the introductions. And first off, our all-star every Saturday night comes through in the clutch when it comes to talking about games. My brother, Predator!
Yo, what's up, everybody? I wasn't sure I was gonna make the show today. I was talking about earlier this week. I've been like slaving it this week, man. Like 3 o'clock to like 7 o'clock. So I didn't get a chance to get any gameplay in this week, but my wife gave me a kitchen pass and told me I was okay to do the podcast. So my daughter's in town from college, so didn't think I was gonna make it. I'll spend some time with them, but I wore their asses out earlier in the afternoon just so I can make the podcast today. So good to be here. Special guest Hyena. We're gonna introduce him in a minute. Glad to be on with him for a change. And that other guy, I don't know.
That other guy. We will introduce him as well, man. But I think you made a couple people upset in the chat when you said that, you know, you're not bringing that fire gameplay. So I think they're gonna expect double the fire for next Saturday.
Greatness next week.
Oh, dare we say legendary?
Yeah, that's a good segue.
On that note, guys, coming live from the 405, and you know, he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. Our brother, K Mega!
Now, let me tell you how Bot does me, right? Okay, so last week, I smashed these clowns. I told him K-Mega was coming back with that gameplay with that hot fire Daylon. And as you can see, he throws what Bot does instead of showing what I won last week. I mean, what was the winner last week? He shows the gameplay, the new gameplay. That's how Bot. So I have to work even harder to bring in some more gameplay. But enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, because it's heat. It's back.
Mega,
and thank you, Hyena, for coming and joining us tonight. What's going on, man? What are you talking about?
Should I put you in the voting then for tonight? Since it's
go ahead and put me in the voting. I'm already going to be the winner. I'm going to win this week too. That's just.
I don't know, man. I got some fire. Like, if they're Crackdown fans,
you had my stuff for 3 weeks. Of course, you're gonna have something to try to combat it.
It's not like I look at your gameplay and be like, all right, how am I gonna beat this, man? I play what I like. and I get
Maybe
the best clips out
maybe
of what
you
I
need
play.
to after that ass whooping that y'all got
Oh,
last
my
week.
God.
The ratings.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'd have
landslide.
played this week, it would have been nothing but Anthem footage any fucking way. So.
Right.
See,
I
that's
know
why I
that's
like
right.
at least Predator's honest, man. He's not trying to hype people up with what is this Afterburner on Genesis or whatnot. But
No, this
anyway.
isn't Afterbirth. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, anyway, man.
Guys,
No,
I'm excited for our special guest. Can I get to that introduction? Can I? Can I do it? I'm gonna take that as a yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Guys, I am pleased to introduce for the first time on the next podcast, the creator of the Den podcast. Not only that, he is also a weekly part of the Saltiest Gaming podcast. Guys, get excited for Hyena!
Hey, what's up, guys? It's really awesome to be a part of this week for the next podcast. Me and Bob were talking about, trying to make it on about 2 weeks ago, and sadly, my internet was not having any of it, so that sort of got postponed. But really awesome to be on today. I know me and K Mega have been on a show together with Boom in the past, and that was really fun to do. And now I'm on a podcast with Bot and Predator, so there's a first time for everything.
Nice, brother, nice. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. Like you said, a couple weeks ago, we thought we had everything straight. I will let you guys know Hyena's just being modest right now. He has a huge list of stipulations to be a special guest, and I had to go through and get them all checked off. Okay, so I hope he's comfortable in that vibrating lazy boy that I sent over to him. I hope the drink is perfectly chilled to the temperature he stated. Because guys, we are going to go in and talk about some of these hot topics that dropped this week. And I gotta say, I was at work all day today. I wasn't really on Twitter. I wasn't on social media. I was busy getting people off smoking cigarettes. Yes, I work at a vape shop. And Hyena, you brought something to my attention. Do you mind letting the chat know and letting the panel know? I guess there really seriously is another company kind of entering the ring when it comes to consoles, man.
Absolutely, yeah. So everybody knows that GDC is happening this in about 2 weeks and change. GDC is the Game Developers Conference. They have that in San Francisco, I want to say. And there's a lot of things that they share at GDC. They do a lot of dev builds and stuff. At one point we saw a dev build for Borderlands 3.
I remember that.
Did we lose him?
Did we lose him? He's gone?
I don't hear him.
I thought that was just my my computer doing its thing, but then I realized I also have a new computer, so it might not do that anymore. Hyena, you there? Uh-oh. All right, well, we're going to save that. Hyena, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you. So hopefully we can get these kind of like technical hurdles taken care of. For now, we're going to move past that. We're going to go back to that topic. But let's talk about a game that just released in Game Pass that people were going crazy about beginning of the week, and that is Just Cause 4. Just Cause 4, I think it's been about, maybe 3-4 weeks since the game released or whatnot. And it kind of got put into Game Pass. And I hear a lot of people talking about, like, the reasons why it got put into Game Pass. People are saying, well, Just Cause 4 was a flop, and that's why. Other people are taking a more kind of, like, positive outlook on why this game got put into Game Pass so early. So let's hit K Mega first. Mega, first off, do you have Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Did you download Just Cause 4? Or?
Not yet. I'm finna do that. Matter of fact, I might as well do it right now while I'm sitting here. Yeah,
I
forgot about
it. It wouldn't be a next podcast if you weren't multitasking, man. That's all I gotta say on that.
True. I wasn't going to today, but all right, let's go ahead and do that. But
dude, like, I find it interesting that when a game goes into Game Pass early, and now this is a a third party going in really early after the release of the game out there to everybody. there are people like, well, the game was obviously a flop, and that's why. I don't necessarily think that's why, but what do you think, man? Do you have any idea as to why Just Cause 4 so early is already in Game Pass?
Just because probably the bargaining behind it. It's just it's not about games flopping per se. I think it's just more of the thing where people, well, not I say people, but companies, when they look at a certain game or a certain thing that they've worked with, if it's something that they maybe sponsored or whatever, and maybe they look at it from a standpoint of like, look, okay, let's give our game a couple of months and then put it into this Game Pass and then have more people get in, have more access to it before we drop the price of the game, and then maybe people might want to buy the game or whatever the case may be. But I mean, the whole fact about the game flopped. I mean, Forza didn't flop.
Well, that's first party.
Well, I mean, okay, there's plenty of other games that's been on there that hasn't flopped. So I was just, to me, it's like, that's just fanboy rhetoric. Again, I just think that it's just a part of a business cycle to where these guys, these companies, they want to get more people to have more access to their games. There are so many people. Look, it came out in a bad time. It came out late, and then it came after Red Dead. And there's really, what I'm saying, everybody was actually more interested into what was in those first couple of months coming into the fall than they were for everything else. I mean, you had Call of Duty, you've had Rise of the Tomb Raider, you had Forza, you had whatever else that came. You had Darkstalkers 3. There's just so many other games that came out that it just wasn't going to be the game that everybody was going to just jump towards. And so putting it on Game Pass is just a smart decision. I mean, I don't think that Tomb Raider did bad in the sales, and Tomb Raider came in, about 5 months later. So I just think of it as just as a bargaining chip, and it's also really good for the company, for Xbox to have more people to jump on board. And just like, and it's done its job because, one, we're talking about the game, and two, more people are going to have access to get a chance to play it. So I think it's a win-win for them. Yeah.
And I know down the road they're going to have DLC for Just Cause 4 as well. And if you have an active user base that's playing the game, just by paying $10 a month to have so many games kind of like available to them. To me, business-wise,
Darksiders. I got Darkstalkers on the mind. I really want a new Darkstalkers. I get them both mixed up, but
dude, that passed my radar. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I need Darkstalkers. I need that fighting game, but it's Darksiders. That's what it is, right? Yeah. So,
yo, Face 23, Brooklyn, New York. What is up, my brother? Always has the best questions. He's like, so why? Red Dead 2, Call of Duty, and others aren't in Game Pass, and I have a feeling it has to deal with agreements. You have to have business agreements put in there. Now, my whole thing when it comes to
and they also have marketing rights. PlayStation also has those marketing rights too.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that, man. And I don't think Face thought about that either, to be really honest.
That was just one of those fanboy topics. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it's a fanboy topic, but I just think it's just one of those
he's
things.
back. Look at this.
Yeah.
I just think it also comes with marketing rights and things of that nature. I don't think it's so much about the biggest, best games, because like Tomb Raider is not a slouch, and that's not a game that you would not think that would be coming over. And I think that there's going to be more games that's going to come over on Game Pass, because I think that it's starting to resonate with a lot of companies and with a lot of publishers, and also with a lot of gamers out there. Like, whoa, I don't have to spend $60 or $60 plus for a certain game that maybe I could have waited and gotten a bargain bin. I could go ahead and I get to play this game a lot sooner.
My whole thing here, and I'm gonna switch this over to Pred. Yo, Hyena, I am glad you're back. We got into the whole Just Cause 4 going into Game Pass, and people trying to say it's because the game flopped or whatnot, and we're trying to get those opinions and stuff like that. But I'm gonna go to Predator real quick. Yo, Predator. Now, first off, when I think about a game quote unquote flopping, I think about what the publisher and the developers kind of like expectations of the game are. And when I look at Just Cause, the franchise, I don't think there's ever been really high expectations when it comes to the publishers and the developers. So in that way of thinking, I can't say if it's a flop or not, or if it sold like shit, because it would be according to what the publisher and the developers were expecting. So, what do you think is the reasoning behind this, brother?
Are you talking to me, Bach? Because I had to step away.
Yeah. Did you hear anything I said, Fred?
I heard nothing. My doorbell rang and I put it on mute.
Guys,
I have a feeling you're talking about what fucking game is that? Going to Game Pass, right?
Just Cause 4.
Just Cause 4.
That,
I didn't hear anything K Mega said. I put it on mute before he left, but
that's understandable.
I saw Hyena come back and then I left as soon as he got back.
Well, okay, like I said, my whole thing is like people said because it sold like shit, it's a flop and all that stuff. And when I look at this franchise as a whole, I never thought, because to me, for a game to flop, it has to go under the publisher and developers' expectations of what it's going to do when it releases. I can't guarantee that they thought this game was going to have like huge, they didn't have like, I don't think they had huge expectations for this game.
Because when did it release? Like December, right?
End of November, I thought.
End of November, like after the holidays. Any game that releases in that time frame is like, like it's just like
so it's
an
3 months, not 3 weeks. I'm stewing out right there. But go ahead.
I know. I'm just saying, think about Dead Rising when it came out on the Xbox. It came out in December, late November, if I'm not mistaken. And it kind of it shit the bed. So I think any game that releases after November 24th is going to be like this kind of like in its own little category of bullshit. So, and this game is exactly fits that mold. And I think, this was one of those games that should have released maybe like in the first half of the year, the first part of the year, but it didn't. They put it out when they did. And the franchise isn't really that popular, even though it's a fun game. It's one of those like sandbox games you can just do random shit in. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that it carried over after the aftermath of the holidays, that people wanted to pick it up. And, another Xbox marketed game, it doesn't do well. It goes straight to Game Pass. And we talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It's like we started thinking outside the box, like, is this something that Xbox has been working on? Like, we always talk about these deals and how come Microsoft doesn't like to be more aggressive with these deals. Maybe this is part of their deal. Maybe it's like, we'll market your game, and after a certain amount of time, it goes to Game Pass. If you think about every game that's been marketed by Microsoft this year, I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Well, not Metro. Metro hasn't gone to Game Pass yet.
Not yet. It just came out though. Yeah. But like think back since Tomb Raider.
Yep.
Give or take. Like Tomb Raider, Game Pass. I mean, those are some examples out there. I'm just trying to think.
Mr. King was saying that Shadow of War is coming in. That was definitely
that was a
marketed by Xbox.
Game.
Yeah.
All right, you got me to look at the chat real quick. My bad. Just 1 second. Shout out to Sir X-Man, supporting the channel, supporting the show, hitting that super chat. Sir X-Man says, well, they make money on the DLC on Game Pass also. And brother, you make a valid point, because I feel that, they might have numbers of games sold, but I think the numbers will be higher of people playing the game, with the game in Game Pass. So with that being said, when they come out with DLC, I know there's going to be, people who have Game Pass out there that are going to buy the DLC or the season pass, which is revenue going back.
You only get the game free on Game Pass. I don't think you get all the DLC. So if you actually like the game, guess what you're going to buy? If you really love it, you're going to buy that DLC later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's a smart move if Microsoft is actually doing that. Like, there's nothing, I've never seen anything in writing saying that's happening, but it just kind of seems like a lot of these marketed games tend to go to Game Pass at some point in time. That's like the trend I've seen happening. And so
does that mean Battlefield 5 will go to Game Pass?
No, because it's in EA Access.
EA Access,
I was trying to throw a curveball there, brother.
No, I think because it's in EA Access, you won't see it. And not saying it won't ever. I'm just saying, like, right now, no.
Okay.
Because it'll probably go through Game Pass first, and once they get done with all the DLC and they start marketing for the next Battlefield, maybe then you'll start seeing it pop in Game Pass. But I don't think I've seen very many EA games in Game Pass for the specific reason that it's on EA Access.
Yeah, they have their
Like,
own. They have their own service.
Like you don't see Madden in there. You don't see I mean, we did get Fight Night, but how old was that? So like, so I don't see that happening. But as far as some of the other games, I think the Xbox, like the Division, was marketed by Xbox, the original Division, and it's in Game Pass. And I don't have my Xbox on. Okay, Mega does. He's probably playing Jump Force or something right now.
No, I'm just looking through the games right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you see something pop in your head, like, let me know, because like we were talking about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it was on live or we were kind of behind the scenes, but like it kind of seems like a lot of the marketed games from Xbox have typically kind of transitioned over into Game Pass, and if that's what they're doing, that is a very smart move from Microsoft. It's like, you're spending money. You know what? You're not going to get a custom console, but you're going to get that game in Game Pass, and I think that's a good deal for them.
You got to pay the bills, but
I was going to say, huge shout out to Raymond Murrell. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. He says Xbox kind of plants seeds for what's coming to Game Pass. Tomb Raider, Just Cause 3, Metro 1 and 2, Devil May Cry 4, and DMC. So if the trend is correct, Metro Exodus, Just Cause 4, and DMC 5 will be in Game Pass. Basically, no Just Cause 4 is not in there because it flopped. Raymond, huge shout out to you, brother. I do like where your head's at, because a lot of people out there, it's just automatically, if it's going to a service like Game Pass, well, the game must have sold horribly, and
Darksiders is definitely, Darksiders 3 is definitely going to come on there because they have both of the Darksiders, so it wouldn't make sense for them not to have that as well.
Crap.
And the good thing about that is, like, as a consumer, like, if I don't want to buy that game outright right now, or wait for that 30 when it drops to $30, when it drops to Game Pass, I can wait 3 or 4 months, because like for me, like, if your backlog is really long, like mine is, like, you put that shit in Game Pass, that's just another game you could download and play later that you may or may not have bought when it came out, but you'll try it now. And if you enjoy it, that DLC is there, you can pay for it.
I got you. Well, we do
have you get 20%. I'm sorry, but I was just gonna say, and plus, like, I know Dirt 5 just came out, like, I think about 2 weeks ago. Dirt 4 is in here, and it's discounted for 20% off, so you can get it for like $45, $47, compared to what you would if that's another incentive as well, is that if a person says, well, man, I just want to wait, and then let's just say Dirt 5 comes to Game Pass during the summer, then instead of waiting until you got those big Xbox and PlayStation sales at the end of the year, you can go ahead and it just keeps you to have a Game Pass, and then go ahead and get it for the 20% off. So you still win in that way as well.
Oh, yeah.
Keep gamers on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Game Pass is an awesome service. Not only do you get to play those games, but if you really like them to the point where you want to own them, you want to make sure you can play them, and you want to make sure that they don't take it away over time, you can buy it for a discounted price. Hyena, I gotta ask you, what? Yeah, oh great, Snaps is home. I just heard the door close. Hyena, what do you think about the reasoning for Just Cause 4? I'm pretty sure you heard out there people are like, well, that game must have flopped and all that stuff. I think it's more of a business decision than anything else. But what do you think, man?
Absolutely. I'm looking at the chat and listening to everybody on the podcast. I'm like, God damn it, everybody's taking my points right now. But I honestly believe it's a symptom of it's a marketing deal, and that's what it is. Everybody's listed all of the newer games that are releasing or that have released this year. All of their predecessors are in Game Pass. All the Darksiders, you have the Metro Last Light and Metro 2033 in there. Mm-hmm. You have MK10. You have the Just Cause 3. I think this is just, they're signing marketing deals with these publishers and developers and saying, hey, I forget who said it on the podcast, but I think what they're essentially doing is they're going to get a marketing deal with, let's say the same guys that do Codemasters that just released their new Dirt game. And they're going to say, hey, we're going to market this game, and the clause in this deal is that after a certain amount of time, it has to go to Game Pass, where it's not a lose-lose situation for the developer or the publisher when it goes to the service, because they're still selling their game physically and digitally. They're just getting, a larger player base on a separate service.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly what it just comes down to. I don't think it's because, Just Cause 4 flopped or anything like that. Like you said, the Just Cause series, they never really met a high bar in the first place. Like they kind of just did their own thing. They're within their own like niche genre in its own. The publishers, Square Enix knows what the Just Cause series does. I don't even think if I would say after probably a month or two from now, Just Cause 2 is probably going to go into Game Pass as well. I think it's all it comes down to marketing deals, essentially. And I think, and I said this on the Saltiest Gaming podcast, that I honestly believe that Mortal Kombat 11 is a day and date release for Game Pass.
Whoa.
I 100% believe that. And my reasoning behind this, not just because the MK10's in there and got added there, what was it, in December or something like that, is that if you watch how you look at the official Xbox Game Pass Twitter handle, they do a lot of their cheeky memes and stuff like that when it comes to these games. And there's a lot of banter going back with Mortal Kombat specifically. Every tweet that they do, Mortal Kombat keeps getting mentioned over and over, and it's subliminally mentioned, but it's there. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, there has to be something more to this. You can't keep mentioning Mortal Kombat. I think that MK11 is going to be a day and date release, and if it does, that's going to be a huge thing,
dude. That would be ridiculously huge for people who follow. You guys know I'm on other shows. I'm on Crossfire. I'm on Xbox Nation as well. And Mooch, one of his biggest things about Game Pass is where's the third party, games day and date. Where are they in Game Pass? He says once they start doing that, then he can really see kind of like the value in Game Pass or whatnot. So a game like Mortal Kombat, if that would ever go day and date, like Mortal Kombat 11 looks sick already. Yeah, what do you guys think? Mega, Predator, like, do you think that could happen?
It's possible.
You're not a big fighter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
well, I think that's the whole thing here, though. I think that's why it's not. And then there was somebody in the chat that brought up, well, Tomb Raider. This is the funniest thing to me, right? Like, okay, all right. I don't know. I think the last time that I checked, and I've praised Detroit. I think everybody on this panel and people that's been listening, I was one of the first people that was praising Detroit.
Yeah, you saw that movie, right?
Shut your But I love Detroit. Detroit is my favorite story of on the PlayStation. It was my favorite storied game of 2018. But how many sales did it get? 2 million, almost 3, somewhere like that. Well, the one reason why I'm saying that is that this dude was saying that basically Tomb Raider was a flop because it sold 4 million in 4 months. In 4 months. I think me, how I talk about the penis demon game. I think it hasn't even reached 3 million. I just don't.
Well, but let's be fair here. Tomb Raider was a multiplat. It came out on multiple consoles. So
you know what? The whole multiplat thing is irrelevant. Let me make this.
Instead of having like.
Let me make this point, Bot. Let me make.
All right.
How many PlayStation 4s are allegedly out there?
What are we up to
80
now?
million, 90 million, somewhere
like
in there.
90-something million.
Almost close to 100 million, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many Xboxes and Switches are out there combined?
Well,
roughly, because we don't actually really know.
Like
maybe about
between
70.
60 and 70
okay,
million.
About 70, right? Okay, so that shit's irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense when you have way more consoles sold out there. The third party talk and shit. It's just irrelevant.
I'm saying expectations are different though if you're releasing on multiple platforms.
That is fair. But look, man, I don't want to hear it. Listen, those 4 or 5 games that sold really well on PlayStation,
Hyena knows I make sense right now.
They do not equate for the other 10, 20, 30, the hundreds of games that's come out on PlayStation that hasn't sold shit. Stop it. Tomb Raider sold 4 million. That's still good. Maybe not toward the expectation of what the highest sold Tomb Raider has done in its history. I don't know what that number was, but still 4 million is not nothing to sneeze at. So I just think that it's ridiculous to try to come out and just to say that it's all about sales. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I know. I just want to. But going back to your point, but I just don't think that would happen. That game. I mean, but that game is a juggernaut. It's gonna eat anything up in its wake.
Yeah, if they got a lot of DLC, planned for MK11, then
when does that game come out?
Hyena, is it end of April or?
Yes, it is. And, so going back to that point, Xbox said, or Xbox Game Pass on Twitter said that they're also going to tease a game that's going to be arriving in April this month as well. So I don't know.
You could be onto something.
Hyena gets a Swami hat.
If it was coming on Game Pass, they would have announced that by now. But if they're gonna hold off to it, like the pre-orders right now don't really mean that big of a deal. If I guess if they're thinking about putting it in Game Pass, I guess maybe like I don't think a lot of people pre-ordered this game yet, but if they were going to pre-order and they knew it was coming in Game Pass, they probably wouldn't
announce it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'd be crazy. All I gotta say is, Hyena, if this turns out to be true, you inherently have to have the Swami hat from now on, because that would be absolutely huge, man. On that note, I want to go back to this whole Google thing, because it sounded really interesting when Hyena was talking about it. Now, Hyena, if by some way everything cuts out when we talk about it again, then it's not meant to be, and we're just not going to cover the topic. All right, brother?
Google's trying to shut us down.
Yeah. But like I said, more kind of like more evidence that there's another company really putting themselves in the ring for the console hardware and gaming. So what do you have about that, man?
Yeah, so right before I cut out, I was talking about how their controller leaked online, and it looks like a standard gaming console controller. But it looks closer to the Ouya controller for what that's worth. Damn. I don't know. So there's a lot of memes and stuff going on right now on Twitter about that. But from what I've heard, and I don't know if people watch Spawn Wave, but he's been covering this as well, and they've covered up a lot of stuff with Google and their supposed console or consoles that they're making. And it was to be believed that they're going to show it off at GDC this month, obviously.
Yeah,
that it was going to be a streaming-only console. But from what people are hearing, it's going to be... One of them might be streaming, but one of them is going to be dedicated hardware as well that supposedly or allegedly might be able to challenge the prowess of the Xbox One X for $400. So we will see what happens with that specifically. It's going to the hardware stuff aside, because I do find that fascinating. Mm. Google's also trying to do stuff when it comes to their games and their games specifically for their hardware, streaming or dedicated hardware. They're going to be ramping up their own first party studios and making first party content for their stuff as well. But we're hearing that they're also getting second party devs into the fold to get onto their service. Well, third party as well. Ubisoft is one of them. Because obviously we've seen that they have a partner with Google with they did the project streams with the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that's a no-brainer right there. They have a partnership with Ubisoft going on where they're going to be porting a lot of their games to their console and service. But we're also hearing that Sega is going to be a part of the fold as well. And they're going to be supplying, porting games over. But we're also hearing that Google might be throwing a ton of money at Sega to the point where Sega is going to be making them some original IPs and bringing IPs back from the dead from them. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with Google specifically. Like, obviously, people complain about, Google, Amazon, Apple, heaven forbid Apple getting into the games business and saying, well, you might have the infrastructure, you might have the hardware, but where's the games? And I think that's what Google is trying to do here is they have the infrastructure. We're hearing that they possibly have the hardware to back things up, and they're throwing a ton of money at publishers to get things going while buying up their own studios on the side.
Dude, to me, this news is absolutely huge because, like, I knew Google and Amazon, eventually they were going to get into it. I've heard kind of like rumors and, behind closed doors stuff about a Google console for like absolute months now. I think the most important thing that you said right there, Hyena, is the thing that you're most excited about. If they are, working together with Sega, going to get ports, brought over from Sega, whatever games come out, multi-plat, but then work on new projects where they can bring like old Sega games back and develop them for today and put them on their hardware, their streaming service. To me, that makes them a legitimate contender that will move into the ring. So, Predator, what do you think about this, man? When we started talking about this, I know a lot of people out there were like, well, what is Amazon and Google? What are they going to do for games? It's all about the games. Now, you heard the rumors here with Hyena. Does this kind of possibly spark your interest that you might look into this system as well?
I enjoy my Xbox. I enjoy being able to purchase games on, my console and my PC, and I have to pay extra money for, another game with the same game. For me, my ecosystem is Xbox, so kind of transitioning over to Google may be a little hard for me unless they have exclusive games over there. And that's going to be their biggest.
But they're saying they can make the old Sega games, make them
I don't
today.
Care. I don't.
Dude,
and I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say that, but I've never been a huge fan of back and pat games. I play them.
I'm not talking back and pat. I'm talking developing a new game with an older franchise, like bringing it up.
Yeah,
that's different. That's a new game. That's like bring me Space Harrier, like a Anthem type Space Harrier. I'm cool with that, but like if it's just Space Harrier from fucking 1990s, I'm like not okay with that. So I need to see games at the end of the day, and if I'm going to purchase their games on just like that forum, it's going to be hard for me to break away from the ecosystem I have on Xbox. It's like look at it this way: if Division 2 came out on streaming service on Google, I have a fucking squad, like a couple of squads on Division 2 on Xbox right now. Why would I go over to Google for that unless they can actually get the shit to merge between the two? Like right now, it's a competition between not just the game, but the ecosystem and/or the price. Like let's put it this way: if Google comes out with Division 2 on their system and it's $30 cheaper than it is on Xbox because they're streaming it only, and I can do crossplay, that's going to be a difference maker for me because I can still play with my friends. Same game on PC. Whatever specs I have on my PC, whether it's stream or whatever. But like, if I can get, if I can optimize that at a cheaper price on my PC and still get to play with my friends on Xbox, that's a game changer. But if they're just making me start a brand new ecosystem from scratch with all new friends and, I'm not doing that. It's just I'd rather play with you guys than to sit here and purchase the shit $30 cheaper when I can play with you guys and I can enjoy it instead of playing with brand new people I've never played with before.
It sounds weird, but I'm gonna take that as a compliment. You're like, I'd rather play with you guys.
Okay, I'll back up. Look at this. Okay, so I have Anthem on PC. I have Anthem on Xbox. Guess where I play it most at?
PC.
Xbox. Because you guys are there.
But why? The power, man.
Because you guys are there. I don't have HDR on my PC. I have it on my Xbox. But it ain't even about the visuals. It's the fact that, you know what? I can jump on and guess who's on there? Knox, you, K Mega. Everyone I know, I've made friends and established friendships with over the past 10, 15 years are on Xbox. So I can jump in the game with you guys. But like on Google, I have nobody there. I can make new friends, but am I going to spend $60 to make brand new friends that I don't know, that ain't going to talk to me in chat?
Yes, you are.
On Google, or am I going to jump on and play with Mooch and El Boogie and you guys in the chat? I'd rather play with you guys. I'd rather spend that extra $30 to play with you guys. And again, I'm being hypothetical here, but at the end of the day, my ecosystem is Xbox.
All right. Well, but if you hold on, first off,
Side note, I did put the patent. I put it on in the chat with our
nice
Twitter chat, and I put it on Twitter itself, so y'all can look at those patents.
All right, I'm gonna try to take a look at that as I am being the moderator here. But first off, I want to say to Face 23 BKNY brother, this is not a yes man show, and my brother Knox unfortunately has been kidnapped. And he's being held ransom right now. Unfortunately, I guess some Sony extremists out there, they didn't like his last video that he did on his YouTube channel, and they're holding him ransom. I did get a ransom note. They are asking for 70 iPhones, and they want the iPhone 10, so this way they can remote play. And we're not going to pay that right now. I'm sorry, brother. We're not going to do that. If they were asking for Samsung, then possibly, but we're not buying iPhones to get Knox out. So maybe we could break him out. Maybe he'll escape. Only time will tell on that one. But Mega. All right, Mega, you play on PC. You have a PlayStation. You play on that, and of course, you play on Xbox. Now, when we were talking about Amazon and Google, the first thing was, well, what are they going to do for games? If these rumors are true, they are going to have games. Are they going to be, if these rumors are true, will they be a solid contender here in the console gaming space, man?
It's all about what they're going to do with their technology and about price. I mean, I don't think that they're coming in here just to throw a box and put pretty graphics on it and just say, here you go, we're going to charge you $400 for this console and have at it. I think that they have something under their sleeve. I do believe it's them that has Iron Galaxy under their wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not only
that's Amazon, sorry.
Okay, all right. So they have a team already. No telling what they're working on.
They got money, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. And all these companies has money. And if Apple did decide to come on there, I think that just get ready for a lot of undercutting. Just get ready for that. Just get ready.
It's going to get dirty, man.
It's going to get filthy. And not only will this set and change the whole narrative of how gaming is going to look here in the next 10 years, but it's going to also bring innovations that we probably haven't even thought about. It's going to be pretty interesting, because I don't think that they have a plan to just come in here and do it for a couple of years and then they say that they're out because they haven't sold enough consoles. I think they have at least a 10-year plan to go in here and to try to strong arm themselves into this gaming space, because there's so many customers out there that hasn't had an opportunity to play these high level games like console or PC gamers have. So I mean, cell phone games are definitely stepping up and starting to look better than they've ever looked, but they still haven't came up on the levels of what we've got with the PlayStation 4, with the Xbox, even to some degree the Switch. So it's going to be really interesting. I say fear them. You got to fear what they're doing. That controller
Here's
looks
the wallet, bro.
yeah, feel the dough. It's about because they're not coming. Like I said, they're not coming in here to play games, and they also, because like I said, the controller may look atrocious, but let's see what that box looked like. Let's see what like Fred said that would be a game changer. I didn't even think about that. Like they would say, yeah, you could do crossplay. Yeah, we'll sell the next Assassin's Creed game for $30 less. And then if they have an affordable console on top of that, somebody's going to get left out because that's always going to be the one gamer's preference.
Okay, Mega, did they mention the console or they just mentioned it going through their Google?
No, they've mentioned that they're going to show a console at GDC.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know that we see the controller. Like I sent the link earlier.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I saw Jamie Moran post it, and then I seen you post it afterwards. The diagram or whatever of what it looked like. It looks like it's going to be a lot bigger than what that one picture that Jamie Moran showed, because it looked pretty dangy. Like if you got those little Burger King hands, like a commercial with that dude, So you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that ain't for me. I got to cut that out.
That's one of my favorite commercials, brother.
That is a great commercial. But yeah, so I mean, if you got man hands, then it's not going to be for you. But I think that controller is going to be bigger. I've seen Chris. He said something like, "Yeah, they're trying to." I mean, PlayStation is the generation's darling this gen, and so therefore they want to appeal to gamers that be like, "Hey, this feels just like the PlayStation 4 controller." You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited for it, man, because like I said, I've been all about the whole streaming thing. I've been all about the whole this new wave of where gaming is going, because as we can see, as I just seen Devil May Cry, I went ahead and risked it all and bought it. Man, games looking better and better and better, and that shit isn't cheap. And so keeping it just keeping everything just within a box and thinking that that games are not either going to expand, going to get higher, or they're not going to look for more ways of doing loot boxes or more DLC or all these other things involved. They're going to have to reach out and get more gamers, and streaming is definitely a way. So, and I think
gladly mooch a copy of that if you guys out there want to send.
Oh man, that game looks. I only played about an hour of it, and I'm like, this cutscenes look like the game.
Oh, yo, Mega. Yo, Mega, off subject real quick. I just want to let you know, and I'm going to give a huge shout out to my brother, Mr. Midlife Crisis Butcher Van himself, because he hooked me up with a late birthday gift, and he got me Dead or Alive 6. I've been playing it since last night.
Nice. What'd you think about it?
Oh, dude, I love it.
It's beautiful, but you can't play. But the problem is, the downside is that you cannot play with friends right now.
Not right now.
Yeah, they'll update it to where you can.
Oh, dude, as soon as we can play with friends, you already know the deal, Mega.
Oh yeah, cool. You get your head beat in like you did last time.
Yo, damn, brother.
I was going to say as well, going to K-Mega's point, a lot of people don't actually realize this, but when it comes to streaming and the stream boxes these corporations are making, you hear Microsoft is making a box that isn't going to be fully, just streaming. They're going to be doing some sort of hardware modifications to it where it can help with latency and stuff like that. Well, I only just recently realized this, and this was like maybe 2.5 weeks ago, that Amazon, Google, and a few other companies are starting to make their own processors for streaming specifically. And when it comes to this stuff, like, because obviously, they can license stuff out from Intel, NVIDIA, AMD, so on and so forth, but that cost a lot more. Them making their own processors for their streaming boxes and their server racks cuts down on costs exponentially, and they can get the efficiency down to a T, because they know how they're making their own stuff. So this streaming, their streaming hardware might be a bigger deal than some people realize if they're making their own processors to mitigate a lot of this latency stuff. And, like going back to the whole, them fishing around for games from Sega and, Ubisoft and some other people potentially, I was thinking in the back of my mind that what if Google was the one to revive Jet Set Radio and they were the ones to get the sequel going and not Xbox.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
my
that
goodness.
or the game that's on my mind is Shinobi. Like,
Yeah,
if
that too.
if they brought back Shinobi.
Make a serious Shinobi.
Yeah,
You know
and then
what I'm
like if I didn't, I may not be interested in buying the box, but you can still stream. I am a Prime member, so I could go ahead and well, that's Amazon. I'm tripping.
saying?
I
I was gonna correct you eventually.
I'm tripping. I know I had to think about that. My bad. But I'm just saying, but if you could still stream, go through their streaming service, I would buy that game in a heartbeat and stream it on through my PC or through my tablet or laptop. I would with no questions asked. $40-$50, I wouldn't care. Shinobi back?
And you know what? Here's something a lot of people haven't thought about. Like, they still may give you the option to download the game. You may not have to stream it.
That's true.
Like, no one's really thought about that, because I know Xbox does it, and I know I think PlayStation does it now. They didn't do it initially, but it may give you the option to download the game, so you don't have to deal with that lag and stuff like that as well. But back up to and I know this was a rumor, and I hate quoting rumors, but there was a rumor like 2 years ago that Microsoft and Sega had something going.
Yeah. I remember
Somebody
that.
was heated in the chat. It was like, if this is true, and Google kind of like scooped up Sega, which I don't. From what Hyena said, it's not that they kind of like bought Sega, but yet they're working
they might
like
take a franchise or something like that.
There's a partnership going on, and they're gonna possibly not only bring in ports of games that are like already in development, but also work with Google to make kind of like exclusive games to Google's platform, and resurrect kind of like older Sega titles and develop them, with today's standards, not remakes, but like general reboots or sequels, stuff like that. So it's not them buying Sega or anything like that, but striking a deal and getting exclusive content and exclusive games in that deal. That to me would be absolutely huge.
And we always have to preface this stuff with, it is a rumor at the
grain
end
of
of the day,
salt
until
I mean, but that was brought out like, was it almost 2 years ago? Like maybe 2 years
where
ago?
Microsoft went to Sega and they were doing something.
Was it last year? Like, I mean, but nothing like, and since then we haven't really heard shit from Sega except for some.
Yeah, what we thought what was going to be with that was maybe Sega stuff going to Game Pass. But who knows?
Because what I thought was from that was that because the big rumor was that at E3 that they were going to because the rumor mill was about I can't think of the game right now where the guy slides around game. I can't think of it right now, but
Frame or something like that.
No, it's not Warframe. But
you had it in your gameplay before. Right?
I had it in my gameplay. I can't think of the game right now.
Reflex or something like that.
I can't think. But
no, it starts with a T.
Yeah, but on top of that, I was thinking of like, oh my goodness, this could be where the Yakuza series could actually come to Xbox, and maybe even the Persona series could come to Xbox. Because I mean, on the 360, you didn't have the Persona RPGs, but you did have the Persona fighting game. So I was like, well, that would be huge for not only Sega, but for RPG fans. So it would be great. Vanquish. That's it.
Thanks, Goblin.
Yeah, thank you, Goblin. And so, that's what we thought. I mean, we don't know anything. I mean, E3 is still going to be very interesting. I know we'll get to talk about that here a little bit, but
I think your obsession of Persona is kind of troubling now, man.
I like Persona.
You keep bringing it back up. I don't know.
People contend because I say penis demon because
showering with old men should not be a part of.
You do got to fight a penis demon, but regardless, I enjoy RPGs and I like the Persona series. I do, but it's another thing of just saying that the best JRPG of all time. I'm like, pump your brakes, no way. But that's a big ass opinion. You know what I'm saying? I won't. I'm not going to knock for nobody who is a fan of Persona by saying that, but it's just for me. It's like, look, I just bring it up.
My opinion, except for a few diamonds in the rough, JRPGs feel old. I got to throw it out there, man. But on that note,
wait, Christopher, you said Sony's Yakuza. I can buy Yakuza on the PC right now if I want to.
Let's not get into that. Yo, hold on. Hyena, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about with this whole Google console. Like, we were talking off air, and you're like, we're kind of speculating out here. I was like, well, when do you think this console would drop? And I was like, 2020. And you're like, well, they could possibly, like, I think it was like a thin possibility, drop it in 2019. And my whole thing, I'm looking at the industry, the console industry. We're ready to go with a new series of hardware, more powerful hardware. Now, Hyena said that, it looks like, specs wise, the Google machine could be comparable to the Xbox One X. If that's the case, I think they should add more power and come out a little bit later. But Hyena, what do you think, man? Like, to me, I would feel like this is an awkward time to drop a console. Like, I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah, like when it comes to hardware and stuff, my opinion on the matter, and I was very vocal about this when they dropped the PS4 Pro, is that if you're going to come out with hardware, and earlier than your competitor, why not just wait the extra year and put something better inside of it?
Yeah.
I can 100% wait for better stuff coming down the line, and I usually do. So with them, a lot of the speculation is off of their U.S. patent files for their controllers and stuff.
Mhm.
That patent is over a year old already, and you'd have to imagine that R&D for their consoles must have started a year or two prior to that patent coming out last year as well.
At least two prior, man.
Yeah. So at this very point, they could have been having R&Ding a console or consoles, I should say, for almost 3.5 years now, and that's typically the development cycle for how R&D goes for these consoles anyways. So if they really wanted to, they could be ready to drop in 2019, but there is the possibility where they could say, well, we can also wait an extra year, put better stuff into the box and launch when everybody else goes.
Well, yeah, and oh no, I was gonna say, like I said, like I was working all day. I didn't see anything of this, so I'm trying to wrap my brain around it now and trying to come up with thoughts and theories and stuff like that. Now, did Google come out and say that they're going to show this at GDC?
I have heard that.
I've heard it too.
That they're supposed to show it off at GDC, or at least detail what their boxes are supposed to.
If they show it off, it's coming out either this year or next year. If they show it off,
unless they do some sort of typical Microsoft arrangement where they just talk about the details and it launches a year afterwards. It could go either way. But from what I've heard from Spawnwave and a lot of other people that do know a thing or two in this industry, is that they're showing something revolving around their hardware at GDC this year.
Nice. Huge shout out to Spawnwave out there. If you could please just let me know your contacts. You could DM me. You could send me an email. Carrier pigeon. I really don't care. I just want to know where you're getting your info from, so this way I can get some too. I don't know. But guys, on that note, a huge shout out to the chat, everybody hanging out with us. It is good to see a crowd in here as usual every Saturday. I will let you guys know the topics are just gonna get bigger from here on out. So let's talk about something that has been all over social media. PlayStation has come out with new firmware for the PS4. People have downloaded it. And within this firmware, it seems like they have expanded their remote play to include iOS. So now it's not just your computer or your Vita, but you can use your cell phone or your iPad, and Samsung, I guess you could say compatibility should be coming down the line as well. Now, when Xbox started talking about being on multiple devices, using, cloud to stream, games to your phone, to your tablet, possibly your Switch, social media blew up. Like a lot of negative talk on how Xbox is dying and everything like that. So, I don't know, man. Let's hit Mega first. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this news with remote play? And what do you think about the reaction out there, on Facebook, on Twitter, where people are like, Yeah, no, that's cool, but the whole Game Pass and XCloud stuff, Xbox is just gonna go to an app, man. What do you think about this, dude?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I know that it was really funny because I mean, I posted something on Twitter. It just said, "Look, this is pure gold. Look, this is just the beginning." Didn't say anything else, and it just started a shitstorm. And it is what it is, man. I'm like, uh, it's apparent what's about to happen, and it's one of those things where I think that a lot of people that had these hard firm stances on just the box itself is the only thing that's important to all gamers. And I think that when we really look at it from, what I'm saying, from not being objective, from wearing green glasses or blue glasses or red glasses, we actually can see that there are a broad audience of gamers out there that may not even touch a console. They rather play off of a cell phone, and I'm not knocking mobile gamers, but I just find it disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Me as a console game, like, what? You gotta grab a console, but there's just people out there that like to be on the go, like to be on the move.
Let me clear something out. Let me clear something up here. Yo, Face, I was definitely getting to that. With remote play, you need to have a PS4, right? And what it does is it basically almost turns your PS4 into a server.
I understand that, but like I get that. That's the fanboy talking point to try to save themselves from the bigger L that they're going to get when PlayStation does the streaming thing like everybody else. That is what I'm talking about. That you can preach that all you want to. Listen, let's think objectively, ladies and gentlemen. Why would they do that? Why would they want to make that? Why would they want to go to make that change, or not change, I should say? Why would they want to implement that if they felt comfortable of just wanting to just keep selling consoles? They are trying to broaden. They're trying to get their infrastructure correct. So when they do push this big megaton thing out from PlayStation, they want to make sure that all their games work properly on these other devices. It is too much money to be wasted by just thinking that you're going to just say single to a box. And so I commend Sony for over here not listening to a small, rabid, crazy fanboy, group of people that really probably don't even game them damn selves, and then listen to what is important to the company and to the publishers and to everything else involved surrounding gaming and where gaming should go. So yeah, I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. So I couldn't do it. I was wondering if it was allowed to go on a tablet, because I was all about getting it started, but it's not ready to go on a tablet yet. Like I said, pretty soon they'll definitely switch over and they'll do something where they'll do a beta test where you can get on tablets. And look, just embrace it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like PlayStation is going to give up on giving you the box. It's the same way with Xbox. They're not going to get away from giving you a box. But for everybody out there, this is where it's going, man. They do not want to relinquish their what they've accomplished in this generation by just trying to make a certain group happy when they got Google and Amazon and maybe potentially Apple jumping in there on top of Xbox already jumping in on this. So I think it's great. I think social media blew up for no reason.
All right, yeah, and the thing is here, there's people out there claiming that, well, it's no big deal because you still have to own a PS4. And I did a video on this, a couple days back, and I had to ask people, are you guys gamers or are you guys stockholders when it comes down to it? Because if you're stockholders, yeah, that's a valid point. They have to buy a PS4. If you're a gamer, though, right? If you're a gamer, you're looking at the xCloud and what Microsoft is setting up with xCloud, all right? If you're already happy with remote play, wouldn't it be easier, more convenient to have the xCloud streaming where you don't have to have your PS4 on in your house? You don't have to turn it on through the app and do all sorts of things with your VPN to play from a distance. Because I have had people on Twitter tell me, oh man, I was 6 hours away from my house and I was playing it on my laptop, or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's all well and good, but isn't the convenience of a streaming service that Xbox is building and gonna put out there, isn't that like awesome as well? Like, how could you say yes to one and no to the other, and your key point to one is like, well, you have to buy a PS4. I don't know. I don't understand it. Hyena, what do you think, man?
So I genuinely love this topic because I like pointing out ignorance when I see it. And the one thing I've
on the
seen
show again, brother.
So when it comes to this whole, streaming business with Sony and you being able to stream your stuff from your PlayStation to iOS devices, I told people, and people like to point out, their defense is, well, they started doing that 4 years ago, and it's like, yeah, but you're not seeing the overarching theme here. What they're trying to do is they're setting up and prepping an infrastructure to the point where I would even say by 2020, 2021, you won't need your PlayStation tethered to your iOS or Android device to play those games. They're all going to be streaming. They're still going to have.
They're gathering data, brother.
Yeah, it's exactly what they're doing. It's all data points. The PS5 is going to come out, and if you want that option, it's going to be there for you. But for a lot of people, and Sony understands this because they're a business, and businesses want more money at the end of the day. Right. They're doing exactly what Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Shadow, AMD probably at some point. They're all doing the exact same thing. They all have one end goal here. And for all the people saying, well, you need a PlayStation 4 to still do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. But at some point, you're not going to. And that's why Sony has been hiring for their own cloud, infrastructure. They have a hiring website where you can see this as plain as day. They say in their own words, well, it's not even in their own words, it's from Phil's words, that they're building console quality games to stream at for any device. And that's exactly what Phil said last E3, word for word. Sony is doing exactly what everybody else is doing in the business. And, it's obvious as to why. And for the people saying that they're never going to do this, to you, I say, this is stage 1 of denial. We're going to get to acceptance. Eventually, we're going to get everybody there
right now. Yo, Mad Jack in the chat is now he's claiming, well, Sony did it first. Xbox is slacking behind again, and Sony is going headstrong into the future and all that stuff. That's not what people were saying like 2 weeks ago with the whole Xbox and xCloud with Game Pass and streaming and everything.
The narrative is already changing, but
my goodness, man.
And nobody from the PlayStation side was over there hyping up PlayStation Now. They were the ones that was calling it trash, not us.
And Bob Beast in the chat saying this is just guesses. It's not guesses because it's on Sony's own website. They're saying verbatim they're doing this. You can see the hirings for yourself. I'm not going to call Sony a liar if it's on their own website. This is just what these companies want to do. Obviously, they're going to still offer a box for you to play on if that's what you enjoy. At the end of the day, people say, well, it's going to make the hardware irrelevant for Xbox. But didn't you say from the beginning it's all about the game? So why do you care about the hardware? If it's all about the games, what's your point? The narrative keeps flip-flopping back and forth here. For me, I'm platform agnostic and have been for a very long time. I'll go where the games go every single time. And obviously, that comes down to personal preference. But, if Sony has a service that is prepped and ready to go to the point where it's as good as the infrastructure that Microsoft or Amazon or Google have, then I'll invest into their ecosystem. And at the end of the day, it benefits me as a consumer because I get to, use my money how I see fit.
Yeah, yo, Hyena, I just want to let you know the funniest thing when I did the video, it was a live video. It's something I do on my channel, and somebody in the chat, when they were talking about the whole Sony thing, right? Oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was a classic comment too. Oh damn, I just had a brain fart. So moving on, yo, Predator. Dude, what do you think about this news here and kind of like the reaction? I know we talked about the whole Game Pass thing, at least a couple weeks ago, on and off throughout like the beginning of this year. And PlayStation people were not having it, and Xbox is dead, and it's gonna just be an app and all this good stuff. And now it's like, well, Sony is rushing into the future ahead of Steam. Xbox is lagging behind again. What do you think, man?
I expected this move. It's not a shock to me, so I don't understand why people are like going crazy about this. Like, that's the way the trend is going. And then, like, Hyena said, like, if you're not accepting this or not seeing this, if you didn't see this happening, like, what the fuck? Like, everyone else is doing it. Like you got all these other companies jumping into this. Sony had to. They had to go this route at some point in time, and you see the lines being written on the wall. It doesn't matter who did, this remote play thing first. I know I can pull up my Surface and play games on my Surface streaming Xbox games. Like, I've been able to do that. You can do it with NVIDIA and Steam. Like, it's not new. It's just, another option for people. For some strange reason, Sony fans don't like options. I guess they just want their box and they just want to play their games in that box. But that's not the trend. That's not where things are going towards the future. And they have one option, I say two, either jump on the boat or get left in the sand. So this is where it's going to go at some point in time. So accept it, people. I don't know what the big fucking problem is with this happening. And like, I'm looking on Twitter, and like, again, I've been working crazy hours this week, but every time I log on, it's talking about this topic.
Oh,
like,
Pred. Check this out. My bad. I remember the comment. Somebody said that Sony didn't want to do this, but since they saw that Microsoft was heading this way, they weren't going to let Microsoft get all the revenue from it. So basically saying that it would definitely be profitable for a company to do this, and it would catch on with the gamers, and they would make money from it. So since Microsoft and Xbox were going to do this, he's like, well, Sony's reluctantly doing this, man.
Well, and I've said this before, and I know this isn't going to resonate very well with you based off your comment a while ago, but I've always said that the metric ain't console sales, it's money. And everyone else's metric is oh, well, how many consoles? We sold 90 million consoles. Da, 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 da. And like, you know what? I'm an investor, right? I spend money on shit like this. I look at shit like this. So I have money in different stocks. I don't have money in Microsoft anymore, but I do have money in AMD and NVIDIA. But like, I follow the money. At the end of the day, I want to make cash. I'm still a gamer. That don't make me any less of a person because I spend money on certain things. I'm invested in my ecosystem. I'm invested in my console. I'm invested in gaming. But at the end of the day, I don't care how many fucking consoles Sony sold or how many consoles Microsoft sold.
Facts.
It's about the money. And when you say that, people get upset. You're not a real gamer. You're not a corporate. You're a corporate slave. Da, da, da.
Why are you following Xbox's money?
Exactly. But at the end of the day, your metric is wrong because these are companies. They don't give a fuck how many consoles you have in your house, which one you own. If you're in the Xbox ecosystem, whether you're playing on PC, whether you're playing on Xbox One or a streaming box, or you're playing on your fucking phone, if you have an Xbox Live account, you spent $50 to get that account, they don't give a fuck. And Sony's catching on to that shit. That is exactly why they stopped giving you free online.
Oh.
Think about it.
Fact.
I mean, that's why they did it. Oh, there's money. There's money there.
You've ate your post Wheaties today. Your post today.
It's about money. It ain't about consoles. And you motherfuckers that are stuck sitting here thinking about, oh, we sold 90 million consoles. What have you got out of those besides like 5 good games?
Oh, don't do it.
We just bought 7 goddamn companies recently. We put fucking servers in water.
Not just water, the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you're complaining. You're coming to the fucking table complaining about 90 million consoles when they don't even make money off those consoles.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there.
These companies just
but that's at the end of the day, it's about money. It ain't about games. It ain't about fucking console sales. It's about how much revenue, how much money can they make for their company. And
Christopher says they still have free online somehow.
Oh, they have. Oh, really? Okay,
free to play.
Free to play. Really?
Free to play.
How many Xbox gamers out there do not pay for Xbox Live?
It's quite a bit that probably hasn't. I don't pay.
Okay, so if you're playing Anthem right now, do you not have Xbox Live?
Yes,
you need it.
They do.
You're playing The Division. Do you not have Xbox Live? Look at the top money making games this year. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee this, but I think the majority of them are online games. Apex. I mean, it's free to play, but like it's an online game. But like, I just don't. My friends that I play with, they're okay with spending their $50 a year for Xbox Live because they're not only just playing Fortnite, they're playing like 30 other goddamn online games. So like that are not free to play. So like that's a dead argument. So like. If that's the only game you play on PlayStation is Fortnite because it's free to play, you know what? I applaud you. But the majority of gamers are not just playing one game. They're playing multiple games. They're playing Madden. They're playing fucking Battlefield. They're playing Call of Duty. You know, they're playing the popular multi-platform online games. So that argument, don't even come to me at the table with that bullshit. You're paying for it whether you want to or not. So, and that's exactly why Sony stopped giving the shit away for free years ago because they saw the money in this
generation, man. They're like, nope.
And they had to build on their infrastructure because it was ass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why the hack came in 2010. I mean,
because of PSN being charged, because they charge you for PSN, you're getting games like God of War. They're able to fucking continue that shit out and still pay for that shit because you motherfuckers are paying for online games. So like, I'm okay with paying for that shit. Am I happy with the exclusive that Xbox has come out with this year? No, I'm not. Right. However, I see a light at the end of the fucking tunnel.
Yo, Christopher in the chat, what Pred is trying to say, yes, on PlayStation, you can download Apex and play it without a PS Plus account. I agree with you there. What Pred is saying is there's nobody who owns a PS4 just to play that one game or those two games if you throw in Fortnite.
Well, no, there might be though, Bot. No, let me. I might. Well,
how are you going to spend a couple $100 on a console and then just go play these?
Okay, hold on. This is why. Well, the casual.
Who in here is casual? Who in this chat is a fucking casual?
People in the chat.
I'm talking about as the casual overall that has helped propel, because it wasn't the diehards that did that propel PlayStation. It was the casuals that did.
What's the most popular game on PlayStation right now?
What's the most popular game?
That's online.
Fortnite, or it's got to be
online only that you have to pay for.
Oh, it's probably Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. No doubt. Yeah,
so they're paying for that, right?
Right. No, yeah, they prepare for that. But I'm saying, but there is a casual group there's a group, and even it's with the Xbox. It's with every console except for Nintendo. Nintendo has that.
You don't need online for Nintendo. I could play fucking anything on Nintendo. Don't give a shit about their online.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. The Nintendo fan base is a whole different animal compared to what Xbox and PlayStation fan base is. The casual player that goes to the hot console for that generation, they're not going to buy as many games as we bought. Like I've bought like 8 games in the last 3 goddamn months. That's crazy. They might not even see 8 games through the 5 years.
So out of the 90 million consoles that have been sold on PlayStation, how many of those do you think are casual fans that only bought their console to play Apex and Fortnite?
Just look. I mean, look. Look, and this is not me trying to say bad things about God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn or any of the or Uncharted 4. I'm not saying it in a bad light, but I'm just looking at it. I'm just telling people to look at it from a perspective situation. Look at it from a bigger picture. How many of those units been sold? Like 10 million for like those 4 games. 10 for Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted.
I don't have the numbers. I'll take your word for it. But
okay, well, let's just say 10 million. Let's just say 10 million. But there's 90 some million consoles out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so obviously, God of War is a great game. No doubt about it. So it's Horizon Zero Dawn, all those games. But if those games resonated with the casual base, like fanboys like to think it does, then it would have sold 40, 50 million. It would have done fucking numbers, Call of Duty numbers, but it or even Fortnite numbers, but it's not. So that's the thing. There's only people buy consoles that get them just for their kids or whatever because of 1 or 2 particular games, and Fortnite and Apex and games like that are the creme de la creme for them.
Well, let me ask you this: how many free-to-play games came out before Fortnite?
You had
that were popular. I mean, that were like selling like Fortnite.
Warframe is really popular.
That wasn't on PlayStation back then, was it?
Yeah,
I don't think that came out too recently, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know.
Warframe came out in the beginning. I don't know when it came out on the PlayStation, but I know it was on Xbox day one. So I'm assuming that it's on the PlayStation day one as well. I know that they have Planet Side, but that's not popular. And then there was a couple of other games that I have no clue what.
The reason why I'm saying that because that argument wasn't around until Fortnite came out.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And so like that's why I'm not giving any credibility to the argument.
Let's be honest. It is such a minimal thing that Xbox definitely needs to lift that paywall when it comes to
you're right.
Absolutely.
But then they'll be, you know what, they'll take those goalposts and they'll move them a little bit faster.
But see, that's the thing. We will see that and say, yes, that needs to change. We're not going to make a show every single week about it. All right, but we're going to say, yeah, that definitely needs to change. Whereas, when it came to different policies, different ways that Sony was going throughout this entire generation, nobody could say anything bad about any of that. One of my things, all right, and this is one of my things when it comes to the PlayStation, made it really easy for me to get rid of it in terms of selling it off, is I felt like their mainstays, they're The Last of Us, they're Uncharted, their new God of War, they all just went into this particular mold. It was all third person, camera over the shoulder. It looked like they were using, in a lot of aspects, the same exact kind of like textures.
Template, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want that. I want different games, like coming from the core first party teams. I don't want just like everyone doing a third person. Even on Xbox's side, you have the classic racer, and then you have the open world, more casual racer. Then you have a first person shooter. Then you have a third person shooter. They're all different games. Whereas on Sony's side, they kept following that template, and it kept pissing me off. All right, to the point where I'm like, screw this. Every game is going to be third person, camera over the shoulder with a different story. I don't want that to game with. I'm not going to get excited over that.
Let me state a point. I'm not agreeing with Microsoft's paywall. I totally don't like it. I think it should be free. If there's a free to play game, it should be free to play on everybody. So I'm gonna point that out now. I just don't want people to sit there and think like, oh well, there's a shitload of people out here who only buy a fucking $300, $400 console to play Fortnite and Apex and Warframe.
I'm with you on that, Pred.
That's not a true statement.
I think that there is a big group out there since Fortnite since Fortnite has become big. But you're right. It's an argument. Let me just make this point before you finish. I just want to just make this because this is where I was trying to get to before I just went on a rant. Was just to make this point with saying, because you know me, I'll get on my rants. But cell phone gamers, I should say. Cell phone gamers, 2.1 billion in 2017, and it's going to rise to 2.7 billion by 2021. All right. You want to still talk about that 100 million? Let's go to PC gaming. All right. 1.22 billion PC gamers worldwide.
Holy crap.
It's expected to go to 1.4 billion by 2021.
Yeah.
You still want to talk about 100 million. Do you still think do you actually, like Fred said, they're following the money, not the exclusives, not this bullshit that you talk about or this console box. There is too much potential and too much money out there to be lost by just having this crazy narrative that it's got to just stay in one isolated area where they have to lose money and have to sell so many in order to gain money at the end. It's not viable. It doesn't make any sense. And if you want games to still be $60 and you want games to be bigger and better than what they've ever been, it is not going to work by having the old way. It's got to be something different, and this is what's going to push it. It's streaming.
Nice, brother.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Hyena, do you have anything to add to this before we move on to another topic, man?
I was just going to quickly add onto K-Mega's point and say that Windows 10 devices just passed 800 million. So to go off of that, you're looking at several billion cell phones, several hundred million in Windows 10 devices, PC included, obviously. It's just the numbers themselves don't lie. And as we keep saying, it comes down to the money, and these corporations want more of it. That's all it's ever going to come down to. And if it's something that you don't agree with, it's something that unfortunately can't be stopped because the numbers are too big for them to falter. They're way too big.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely agree with that. Unfortunately, there are a lot of dinosaurs out there where at the end of the day, when their preferred piece of plastic does go multiple devices, has a streaming and stuff like that, like then it's gonna be great. It's gonna be everything that it should have been. It's gonna work better than anything else as well. But
it's gonna kill that whole exclusive narrative. Like, I mean, there's big time PlayStation YouTubers out there that made a plea made a point of saying that if it does this, then they're done. They're just gonna go to PC. That's not going to happen. You and I all know that. It's going to be another narrative change. It's going to be the goalpost moves. And then when all the talk about how Xbox doesn't have exclusives because it's on other devices, that's why I'm saying the L is coming. This is how K Mega gets his L's on these enemies. Oh, I should say enemies. It's not enemies.
Enemies.
Just get on these fools out here is the fact that I like my shit to marinate and brew. So when it comes, it's gonna lash out a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? Because look, this is the ultimate fact right here. There's gonna be a lot of black roses given out to a lot of YouTube channels that's fed off of this garbage.
Yeah,
that's the fact. That fanboy Gotti gangster shit where it's all about it's about your blue, it's about your green, it's about your red. That shit's about to be ate up, Jack. It's about to change. You better start getting your streaming game up, get your PCs and shit right, get your Elgatos and all that shit ready, because for all that shit that y'all been doing and been saying and been going off on, it's about to die. Xbox has been saying that for a long time, ever since from 2014, when they're saying that they're trying to kill the generations. Now it looks like PlayStation sees the light and they're going to do the same thing. So I bid you guys farewell. I'll still be around.
And I love streaming games, by the way. That's another thing that you do get on this channel. I have a blast, whether it's like me and O Snaps going in on a game and talking shit to each other or something like that. I love showing people the fun that like I have, with the hobby that I love. You know what I'm saying? And there's gonna be more of that here as well. But guys, moving on, EA has come out and said with EA Play, they are withdrawing from a conference at this year's E3. So they're not going to do their typical EA conference. We did cover this last night on Crossfire as well. Triple Cup Chuck, man, such a passionate gamer. And when it comes down to it, he talks for a lot of gamers out there. Gamers that want to see the new Madden. even NBA Live, FIFA, stuff like that. And to me, this was a huge surprise that, EA's like, yep, no, we're not having a conference. We'll do EA Play. That's no problem. You guys can come down, you can play games and stuff like that. I'm gonna go with Hyena on this, dude. What do you think about EA kind of saying that they're not doing a conference? This is a publisher that's known to have annual drops. Franchises like Madden, FIFA, NBA Live, annual drops, always something to show. All right, and then with games like Anthem, you would figure that they would want a stage to show the content that's coming down, down the line in the future. Dude, what do you think about this decision? Is it right or wrong in your opinion, then?
So this could be a two-part story to what's happening with EA specifically. It was like mod 500 to 800 of their employees. They're cutting down on a lot of stuff right now, and maybe this is just them saying, well, we don't want to pay the fee at the LA Convention Center for however many tens of millions of dollars it costs. And we all know that EA has a lot of money within their own war chest. It could just be them just cutting down and not wanting to pay for stuff they don't technically have to pay for if they don't want to. It could be that, but it could also be so. My opinion on this is they might not have anything substantial enough to show. And I know that they have their Maddens and FIFAs and their Need for Speeds and stuff that they do show every year. So that's 3 games that they could always bank on. We know that the new Need for Speed game is supposedly going to get announced this year. But maybe in their eyes, whatever they have to show just isn't good enough to where they might think that the public perception on it, they might just be more worried about just more backlash at the end of the day if they don't have anything substantial enough to show the consumer. Because obviously they're hearing it day in and day out when it comes to Anthem and this game and that game with its problems that they've released. And I don't know. It's very weird. I don't think that E3 is dead or anything like that. I think they'll be back next year along with Sony. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that they don't have anything substantial enough to show.
And see, with that, Hyena, you have been a great special guest, but I will definitely disagree on that. With having the annual, I know a lot of gamers out there, a lot of gamers like in my neck of the woods over here in Connecticut that look forward to seeing the next Madden and everything like that. I kind of get
absolutely.
I get them hyped up. I'm like, well, E3 is right around the corner and all that good stuff. You're definitely going to see it there. You're going to see the FIFA. For people like NBA Live, I'm not an NBA Live fan. Basketball is my favorite sport, and I stick with 2K on that whole thing. But there's people that want to see all that stuff. They do have stuff to show. Now, when it comes to them saving money, I can agree with you on that, but I don't necessarily think that's the right way to go. All right.
Yeah, like
I'm disappointed here.
And obviously, like, this is coming from, I do have a biased perspective on this matter where I'm not a sports fan in the slightest. So, like, to me, it doesn't matter what they're going to show. I don't want to say they don't have any relevance in my eyes. It's just when it comes to their sports stuff, I don't care for any of that stuff. But I do know that sports as a whole, FIFA in Europe, Madden in the States is grotesquely huge. Like, we're talking hundreds of millions of people that enjoy this sport. So, to these people, there's relevance for them. But the only thing I can think of outside of that is if it's not a symptom of we don't have anything substantial to show our consumer, then it might be a thing of cutting costs.
I got you. But I don't know. I don't see like the New England Patriots cutting costs for the Super Bowl. That's right. The way I'm looking at it right now. I don't know. Predator, I know you always got excited when I was like, man, we're going to stream, EA's E3 press conference. You're all excited. You want to see the sports games and all that good stuff. So, and I'm being sarcastic right now. Yeah, Pred, what do you think about this decision, though? You said, at the end of the day, you also, you're into stocks, you're into the business side of a lot of things as well as like the entertainment. So what's going on here with EA, man?
I just don't think they have enough to show. Like Hyena was saying, like they got a lot of sports games coming out, but like think of it this way, and we've talked about this before when we were talking about I guess marketing deals, right? Like Madden is going to sell, FIFA is going to sell. You don't need to advertise that at this point. All you got to do is put out a couple of trailers, and the people who are fans of that franchise are going to buy that. They've got 30 of them over the past 20, 30 years. You don't need to advertise FIFA and Madden. They don't have any new games coming out, with the exception of what Plants vs Zombies, maybe a
Hold on, they're coming out with a new PVZ.
yeah, they would discuss that
Oh,
already.
Oh, wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They discussed that in their like so like you got Anthem DLC, you got Plants vs Zombies, you got Madden, you got FIFA, which are known franchises. Why take those four and maybe the Star Wars game, which I think they're showing prior to E3?
Yeah.
Why go and spend all this money on E3 to show those 5 things where they can just do that on social media and save themselves some money and time? Like, there's no need. And one of the videos, I swear to God, I did this when I was actually doing videos on YouTube, is E3 losing its luster because a lot of people were pulling out of the actual E3 part of it, like the whole, show up at this one arena. And they started back then when I did this video, they started doing their own little thing. Like Microsoft did it. I think EA and
EA did it.
Bethesda did their own little thing. And so my mindset was like, does E3 really make any sense anymore? If they're just going to show up to the same city and have their own venues, or are they going to show up in the E3 stage and do it there? But it seemed like, to me, like people were kind of doing their own thing separately during the week of E3. And I kind of started looking at that like E3 doesn't really make sense anymore if they're going to do that. It's fine for people to come together in a common area to do their own thing, but now people are starting to pull back from that because it's really expensive. And if you don't have a lot to show, that's one of the reasons why Sony isn't there. They don't have a lot
but
to show.
I've been on record about the whole Sony thing that I am disappointed that they're not going either. Like, let's just say, like, we this channel and this show just got affiliated with Games Network, right? So
Nice.
there was an option to go to E3 as gaming press, right? Now, one of the first things I thought of, I am an Xbox gamer. I play on that platform, but I want to see everything. So Sony not being there, I was already like, eh. And now EA not doing the conference, I'm like, I might as well wait until next year when everybody's guaranteeing that everybody's coming back, man.
But you don't know that though. I mean, you assume Sony's going to be there next year. But like, look at it this way: what if Sony holds their own event during E3, like Xbox
like a separate building?
It's like
Well, Sony,
like,
I don't think Sony owns a building in that area.
they don't have to own a building. I mean, they can still rent something out. I mean, the area is not that small, but like, I mean, it's a possibility. But and I see what you're saying. Like, why spend all this money and time to go to E3 and go to all these separate venues? Because back in the day, it all used to be in one place, and a lot of people, like recently, the last several years, like people have decided to kind of host their own thing on a different night, like pre E3 or in a different building or something like that. So I'm not shocked that this happened. And the fact that Sony pulled out kind of took the stage away from some of these other people who typically go to E3, because like I don't know what EA marketing deals Sony has right now, but if their stage is gone to kind of show a little bit more footage of FIFA or Madden, which I don't think they don't have that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if that stage is gone for them, then why show up? And then the side little piece that, like, I'm thinking outside the box here is, if let's say Microsoft has Madden and FIFA or something again, and whatever exclusive they have coming out later on, let's say Microsoft has that, but they got too much shit going on already. There's no time for them on the stage. there's no time for EA to come on Microsoft stage because Microsoft may have a lot of shit to show that they can't get EA on the stage for.
Oh, are you talking about like the biggest excuse I've seen so far? It's like, well, Madden can be on Xbox's stage. I'm like, well, I don't really. With what's going
They
on,
haven't
with
done
Xbox,
that though. Have they done that in a while though? Because I don't think they did the last
I
2
don't
years.
want them to do it, man. I got promised something when it comes to Xbox's E3. You know what I'm saying? Like we're looking at all the studios that got acquired. Halo, which we haven't seen in a while. There's a lot of stuff that they can show.
There's a lot of shit Microsoft is planning on showing this E3 in the small time frame they have, and EA may not have a slice on their stage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So, and that's like, you know what? We don't have Sony there to kind of go to because we're not marketing with them right now. And Microsoft has a lot of shit going on this year, and we don't have enough stage time with them. And we don't want to spend money on our own stage. So, you know what? We're going to pull the fuck out.
I got you, man. It's just it's kind of disheartening, like to me. And I got a second part to this, but I want to hear, K Mega's opinion on this. Now, Mega, I know you're into sports and everything like that, so I got to ask you, what do you think about EA not having a press conference? And not only that, man, like you're going to E3 and stuff now. You reach that part of kind of like your gaming YouTuber status and all that good stuff. Dude, are you disappointed at all with what's going on with EA in terms of E3?
No, I think it's a smart move by EA.
What?
Yeah, listen.
You can't say it's a smart move by them and say Sony.
Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, first off, I didn't get a chance to go to an EA conference. I did go to the EA Play, and that's still going to be at E3 or in Hollywood. That's way away from Los Angeles. So it's not. So I'll still get to go and see what they have available there.
Hold on, my bad. I just got to point out, Snaps, her gameplay is nothing but murdering animals for like.
Yeah, I know.
She's looking at that. I was like, well, she's just kicking this damn calf like that.
She's kicking calves and burning cows,
putting dogs on fire,
killing like radiation buffaloes. Like she's not playing at all. Like
no,
yeah, like right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, yeah.
Well, my bad. I had to point that out there because
no. I've watched it. I think this is the third time it's popped up. Yeah, I was just like, damn, Snaps. At first, I thought it was Hyena. I was like, what a savage bastard. But then I'm looking at Snaps. I'm like, oh my god. You better, boy. There better be some pants off dance off coming here to calm her down. Something needs to be going on. Jesus,
you heard, Mega? Yo, Mega, Sleepy said she teabagged the moose.
Yeah. I know, I saw that. It was wild. Yeah, damn. Anyway, so no, I think it's a smart move, and this is why. It's because of all the bad press that EA has been getting for the last ever since the drama came out. Like it's gotten to the point now to where it's hurting the biggest game that they've come out with. And I don't know what the sales is looking like with Anthem. All I know is that Anthem is fun as shit. Anthem is amazing, but it is broken. It's not a 10. It does damn sure doesn't deserve the low ratings that it got. But if it's bricking consoles, and I don't think any game bricks a console. I think that's just something else about that. But regardless, if it's having the problems that it has, and I've experienced a couple of those problems, not as much as others have. But the thing of it is that with all the bad press that EA has gotten here lately, will anybody actually care? And when they do have their press conference, what do people mostly say about it anyway?
It sucks.
It's trash, dog shit.
But I don't. Me personally, I don't say that.
No, but most of the people do out there. Look, I watch a lot of channels.
To all that and not do something is what you're saying.
But yeah, like Anthem had a bad rap. Battlefield 5 had a bad rap. Just the list goes on of how many games has had a bad rap right now. Like, I mean, the loot gate. It just everything for the last year for EA has been absolutely. We thought Xbox has had it bad for the last 2 years. EA has had it way worse. and so bad that Activision could go through what they're doing of giving a game out, charging $116 with no story, and drop Destiny and drop Destiny and everything else, and everybody's still dogging out EA. So therefore, EA needs to bow out gracefully. Just show what they have available, because I think a lot of what they were going to show was a lot of Anthem. And if you've seen people, if they have those live streams and things like that, it would have been Anthem broke this, Anthem sucks, Anthem is it would have been just bad if they showed Battlefield 5 and them finally bringing in the Battle Royale mode. Battlefield sucks. Nobody cares about Battlefield. Nobody. How many you show? They got women in the game. It would have been horrible. And then if they showed Madden, who plays Madden? I hate Madden.
I hope Triple Cup is listening to you right now, brother. I really do. I said, I hope Triple Cup is listening to you right now.
No, I'm just being honest about this. I wish we had GRG last night, because I know Chuck would have went into his whole thing. I love Madden. I buy Madden pretty much every year. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just the thing to me, and you know what I'm saying? And they're going to show hockey. They're going to show whatever other little, like, smaller games, but they're going to show more content to their biggest game.
If they're coming out with another Plants vs. Zombies, I want to see that, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, need to go to E3 because it'll be there.
It might be on Microsoft stage,
and it could be there.
Don't do that, Fred. Don't you dare do that.
No, you know what? I think Microsoft now says, look, we have all of this potential time, because if you don't remember, EA usually goes before or after Microsoft.
That's Sunday, that's Sunday.
That's Sunday. Microsoft has that whole day to this. They can have a three and a half hour show. They can do whatever they want to. Now, they
can do E3. They can do their own show. They can do the fucking Larry Herb show.
I think that's called Magic White Glove.
They can have everything they want to. Only thing I'm just saying is that I think it's good for them to bow gracefully, so they cannot get any scrutiny. Make sure that they get Anthem fixed completely. Make sure that they have everything that they're supposed to have for Battlefield 5. And then for whatever else that they're going to show it somewhere else.
Some guy in the chat pointed out something as well. EA is the owner of Apex. They have stuff to show. They have stuff that they can make a presser on. All right.
Okay. Apex is I know, and also, like, with the new Star Wars game that's going to be coming from Respawn. I get that. They're going to have something to show, but EA is in a bad place right now. They don't need to show anything, because for the games that they have shown, it has been nothing but bad press.
So I guess, like, Xbox this whole generation should have just skipped E3 then, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. They're still going to have stuff at EA Play at E3. And then that's still going to get coverage from people that's going to be out there. Me and Lemetheus from the Zeus 108 Dragons, we definitely going to be doing our thing out there. And plus other people out there, they're going to show what they can. And I'm sure that they'll have something on the stage floor at E3 for Xbox.
You know what, brother? We will meet up next year at E3. How about that? All right.
Well, I plan on trying to be there to bring in our boy the Don's game. Yeah, that's probably going to be my last E3, because I'm going to take the next E3 off. But you know what I'm saying?
That'll probably be my first E3 then.
yeah. So you're first, and they'll be my last, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll come back again. Or we'll see what the fate of E3 will be. But I guarantee you, PlayStation will be back at E3. They just don't have shit to show. And to me, I think it's just ridiculous that there's a group of people that think that E3 isn't the same as what. Let me tell you something. It changed. Like I've said this before. I said this on BGST. I said this on GRG. I'm saying it on Next again. And anywhere else that I've been. Huh?
I said again.
Again. The experience that you get at E3 of being around your peers from all different age groups, is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. Like, you could look at and you could talk to certain people that may partake a little bit into gaming and stuff like that, but they still kind of look at you a little different, because, like, yo, man, you're a 43-year-old dude, you're a 42, 43-year-old dude, and you like games. That's kind of weird to me. I do like games, but I can't do that in front of the public. But you do. But when you're there at E3, there's guys that's in their 60s, 70s. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes in their teens. You got men and women of all different ilk from all over the world out there, and they're expressing their love for video games. It's nothing like it. It's the Mecca. It is beautiful. I feel at home out there. It is great. Anybody that really wants to get an opportunity to go out there, please do and experience it for yourself.
And you don't see the fanboy
shit is nothing out there. Nobody, like I said, I'm talking with the guy standing in line in Sea of Thieves, ready to get our fake Sea of Thieves tattoos, yar. And talking about the Kojima game. Like, what do you think about it? And I'm hyped. Like, man, you make me want to get this game, bro. I love Sea of Thieves. Like, god damn, this is what I'm talking about. Like, all that bullshit that we see and we hear on the internet is so minute, it's so small when you see it from a scale from people from all around the world that really just love gaming, man. It is
random question. I don't have an answer for this, and maybe the chat can help me out with this. But when does the Madden license end with EA?
They just re-signed one, so another 10 years. Yeah.
God damn, 10? Ooh.
10. Well, they might have had a reduced one, but the last one was 10 years. So I was assuming that it might be, but they just re-signed, so it could be maybe 5 years. But they just re-signed. I think it was last year. So
I was just wondering if that was. I knew it was coming due soon, and I hadn't really followed it, and I was wondering if maybe that's one of the reasons why they kind of just pulled out.
Look, hold on. I got to give a big shout out to Goth Witch Girl. That's what I'm talking about. That's my woman right there. She's not my woman for real in life, but I'm just saying.
That's my gamer right there.
I love it. She's like, I'm a 50-year-old woman and I play games. I love you. We love you. That's what we talk about.
Well, guys,
that's what I'm talking about, girl. It's Women's Day. It's Women's Month.
Women's Month.
Shout out to Goth Witch Girl. Give it to her.
Yo, hell yeah. Now check this out. I do have one more question before we wind down, since we're talking about the whole EA, not doing a presser here. And I can't help but feel this way, man. When it comes to Xbox, every time it looks like they have something where they can really kind of like shine, I feel like there's a voodoo curse there. All right. and something just happens to just jump in there and screw things up. Right. So now we have Sony decided that they were going to, skip E3, possibly do their PlayStation experience, show off their hardware. And it's like, wow, Xbox got like center stage, Nintendo does their whole kind of like little treehouse thing or whatnot, but Xbox is going to be there on stage. And I feel that the other companies around them, the Bethesda, the EA, kind of like solidify the importance of the E3 press conference. And now EA is like, well, yeah, we're not doing one. To me, it feels like that might dilute the conference as a whole, kind of taking away some of that power that, Xbox can throw out there on stage. Like, not only is Sony not gonna be there, but EA is not gonna be on stage talking about what they have coming down the line. Like, what's next? To me, if another company is like, we're not doing a press conference, I will definitely be like, they're like taking the thunder away from any announcements that are going to be made at E3. And I want to know, like, do you guys think the same way, or do you see it differently? And I'm going to leave it out there to whoever wants to approach this first, because I'm a little concerned now. If another company says they're not doing it, and they're definitely watering it down.
Ubisoft's got plenty to show, but Ubisoft's got plenty to show. Xbox got plenty to show. Nintendo, I thought, from what my understanding is, that they're actually going to have a conference this year. So I could be wrong about that. If anybody out there
if they have
Nintendo showing up, but they're going to
Nintendo's going to be there. They're going
to get a victory to Nintendo by default, because all they got to come out there and do is show.
Well, no, but it's the thing though, that there's still going to be plenty out there. I don't even think I think that there'll still be PlayStation games to be showed at booths. It's just that for people that's not out there, they won't get to see those things, and they think that E3 is going to be irrelevant. I've never, like I said, man, it was my first time last year. I've never seen so many people from all different walks of life just being like it's the Mecca, man. It is, that shit is not dying. I don't care what nobody say, it's not dying. They can do their own show somewhere else. They could do this, they could do that, but I don't see it dying unless everything gets wiped out. That's the only thing, unless everybody decides that they're just not going to do it no more. And Xbox has the best opportunity to try to save face to get ready for this next to last generation. And yes, I said that, the last true generation of what's going on, because they're ready to start their true blueprint, and then hopefully they'll do it the right way instead of just kind of doing what during the Donnie D era, where they just kind of said some wild shit and said, well, sailors can do this and sailors can do that. They'll have a true blueprint, and then we can see what everybody else is doing, and then we can get ready for at the end of the year when PlayStation drops their shit and what they're going to be doing.
All right. Predator, what do you think? Do you see what I'm saying here in terms of kind of diluting the power of any type of announcements? Now, if Nintendo is there and does an actual conference, that's huge. To me, that brings it kind of like right back up there again. But what do you think, bro?
I see where you're coming from, and it's like the fact that all these other companies aren't showing up. People are like, oh well, Xbox won by default because no one else was there, and I honestly think the haters will be like, well, Nintendo won because they showed one game.
They came out with the Mario hat, and that was it.
I'm setting that up right now. Like Nintendo won because they came, and that's what the narrative is going to be, or Google or Amazon showed up, or Verizon showed up and they won because they have this one exclusive game on a phone. And so I'm setting that up right now in advance on March 9th.
Let that be known. Episode 9.
Let the record state, dilly dilly, that's what was said by Predator. So, but Microsoft's E3s have been good to me personally. In the last couple of years. I like what they've shown, but I thought they won the last two, to be honest with you. It was close, but I still think they won the last two. In some people's eyes, some people thought that Sony won, but whatever. We're not going to go down that road. But with them having a stage by themselves, I think the expectations are a little higher, especially with the
right. I totally agree.
Purchased new studios, and so we do this every year. We get our expectations like up to like 90, and then if Microsoft only shows 70, even though it's a good 70, right? It ain't the 90 we were looking for, and we feel like we're disappointed. And because I know this is like pre E3, I'm about to give you right now, but I don't want to hear about studios. I don't want to hear about controllers. I don't want to hear about, I do want to hear about consoles, but I don't want to. That's the extent of the future I want to hear about. I want to hear about games this E3, and I think they have the stage, the time, and they have it to themselves, and they can do that this year. And I'd really like last year. Like, what was it like? They brought like fucking a shitload of games. They showed like fucking the first like 30 minutes of the show was just game after game after game. And even though we didn't get all of them, they showed them. But like, I want to see that same fire this year, but I want to see it from an exclusive standpoint.
Yeah.
I want to see like not just Gears and Halo and Forza.
Oh, I want to see Halo. Don't you dare.
I'm saying not just. I'm not saying not just.
You talking that bullshit narrative now.
No. I don't want to see just those, because that's the narrative that people say. We have not had a brand new exclusive, unheard of game in how long? And I
mentioned Crackdown 3, but they got shitted on.
Crackdown 3 was announced how many years ago? an unannounced.
Oh, you're getting it this year. I'm telling you.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see an unannounced exclusive, not just one. That I don't want to hear like a fucking 5-year timeline, and Microsoft doesn't do that anymore. But I want to see multiple unannounced exclusives for the Xbox ecosystem. I'm not gonna say Xbox. I want to say the Microsoft ecosystem. I use that right now as a kind of disclaimer. But like, I want to see games specifically made by Microsoft for Microsoft products this year, or Windows 10 products, whatever the fuck they're gonna do with it in the future. But I need to see that this year, like all the shit they're working on. And I'm not talking about just Fable or Scalebound, if that actually happens. I want to see something I've never heard of before coming out on Xbox.
Yo,
and
check
I think
this out,
we deserve that as gamers.
Now you do know. Hold on, but I want to say this.
Well, I
Now,
gotta pay the bills, brother.
Okay. Oh, there's
All right.
somebody's paying the bill.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Check this out. Our brother Raymond Murrell again, and like this is slick right here. He's like, Sony is smart and diabolical.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, I hate to admit it, but if they drop The Last of Us 2 and Ghost, they may dictate the perception of E3's value. So in other words, if they do like a PlayStation experience, right? And they drop some crazy hotness at PlayStation experience, right? It's kind of like they dictate the perception or the importance of the E3 conference.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because
I'm gonna say, hold on. Let me
go ahead.
That's the way I read it.
Get him, Craig, because I think you're gonna say the same thing I'm gonna say.
It would not. No, I probably won't. It would not surprise me how grimy Sony is when they do shit like this. Like, Microsoft has a stage to themselves, and Sony out of nowhere comes out with a game during E3 that we've not heard of or seen before, or some footage or something like that.
Okay,
still the stage. I can see Sony doing that.
Yeah,
I can see them fucking dropping something that week at E3, like gameplay trailer or something, like just throw something out there just to kind of get the limelight on them for a little bit, because they're not going to let Microsoft just have the stage to themselves. They're going to do something that week. I promise you, they're going to do something that week.
Oh yeah, no, you're probably right about that. No, I thought you was going to say, listen, this is my thought about it. Of course, a lot of people, I should say a lot of people, but just, certain people, fanboys don't like what I make my stance.
Extremists, brother.
Extremists. Thank you. Listen, if they're going to have to show The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and then for the Kojima game, Death Stranding, they're going to have to show them. Because but you know what? It's the same narrative. We've been seeing those games for the last 3 years. So I mean, okay, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me you can't bring up the other games from the past because of the fact of the Crackdown was showed 5 years. Okay, but so is these other games. So yeah, you showing it to me again, another fucking clip, and it's going to come out when the PlayStation 5 come out. If they there's PlayStation fans that actually think that Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding is going to come out at the end of this year. Well, Kojima just said that it's going to be a slight delay, so that's not going to happen.
That was going to be at E3 this year.
But yeah, if that was coming out, they would be at E3 this year. The fact of it is that they know that these are PlayStation 5 games, and they know, and all these companies kind of know what's really going on, and so basically, they know that Xbox is coming with some shit. I don't know what else Xbox is coming with. There's something. This. You hearing this from me? I posted this on Twitter the other day. Killer Instinct is coming back.
Yes, it is.
Killer Instinct is coming back. There was this post that was coming from Killer Instinct Central, and they changed their logo and all that other shit, and saying that they're updating their look and all their newsletters and all that shit. They said they're updating all of that. Why would they update it if they're not going to bring another Killer Instinct? Killer Instinct is coming. Only thing I want to know is, while everybody was bringing up the point about Mortal Kombat, about NetherRealm and all that, I'm still holding my hopes and my dreams for that Killer Instinct Mortal Kombat collabo, man. I'm telling you, I just feel it in my bones that they're gonna do something slick. I feel it in my bones, Jack. But anyway, other than that, it's not this. You got to pay the bills.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting to get.
I know. I saw that. Go ahead, pay the bills.
Yo, our brother Yobi Dren, what is up, brother? Hitting up that super chat. Thank you for the support, man. He says Microsoft needs to get their marketing on point for next gen. On God, it was sad as shit this generation. And brother, 100% agree with you, man.
No, I agree with it.
100% agree with you on that.
100%. You know, they say that us Xbox guys or people that prefer Xbox first, you know what I'm saying, as our primary consoles. Yeah, no, Xbox's advertising has been atrocious this generation. This has been the worst that I've ever seen it for the last 3 generations that they've had. It's been bad. And so hopefully that they'll go ahead and they do this. But again, to my point about what Sony is going to do, Sony might show something again, and then of course, this is the thing about Xbox fans compared to Sony fans. You have to give Sony fans so much credit for their hype machine. They are the true hype machine. Xbox fans, they start getting divisive. They start questioning everything that they see. Well, I don't know. That trailer did look good, but is that the actual graphics? Is that this? Is that that? I don't know, man. Is that going to be a $60 game? Is that going to be $30? Is that going to be on multiple Is that going to be on multiple devices? I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't hype that up because it doesn't follow the narrative that I want it to follow. PlayStation fans don't give a shit if they sit there, let me make this point. If the PlayStation if PlayStation said, look, we're going to put The Last of Us on a goddamn box of cereal and we're going to have it on, and we're going to have an arcade system all over the goddamn place of The Last of Us 2, what do you think PlayStation fans are going to do?
Be like, oh man, I'm going to go to Dave & Buster's and play that.
Exactly. I'm going to Dave & Buster's and I'm going to play that shit, and they're going to show videos. They're going to do everything in their power to motivate the PlayStation base. Xbox fans be getting into their feelings about shit because they listen to some other podcasters and they be like, oh man, I don't know, man. I think this podcaster was right. You see what I'm saying? So this is the thing right here. Sometimes the hype machine needs to be the fan base itself, because if you see Halo Infinite, let's not question if Halo Infinite is going to be good or not, because I think Halo Infinite is going to be fantastic.
Oh damn, you're picking a game a franchise I absolutely love, but when you look at the backing, the community, it's one of the most toxic gaming communities out there,
right. Yes, and I'm a part of that too, because I was said this on GRG. I'm like, Barney Ross, if you change your narrative, and thank God that interview, because I read the article, and it made me sick to my stomach, and I was like, look, if you go and you double down Chief to where like you go through some time machine and you bring Chief and he's young and some shit like that, just because these ultra fanboys want Chief to never die, I'm going to be done with Halo. I meant that. That's ridiculous. You're talking about a saga. Look, Han Solo died. Fucking Princess Leia died. All these motherfuckers died in Star Wars.
Damn, spoilers.
Well, no, I haven't even seen. I haven't even seen the last 2 Star Wars.
I've never watched Star Wars. So
yeah, I haven't seen the last 2 Star Wars. I'm just assuming. I know I seen the other one where Han Solo bit the dust. If you ain't seen that one and you a Star Wars fan, sorry, fuck it. It's been like what, 4 years. But like, you know what I'm saying. But like, you know what I'm saying. Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie. I love Star Trek. Picard got surpassed. Janeway got surpassed. Captain Sisko. Fucking everybody's got something surpassed. Look, damn it,
Sisko?
It's time for surpass some shit, please.
Yeah, SS Drew Hill.
Let's do it. Let's go. I'm tired of this garbage.
Yeah, all right. Jesus. Check this out. Now, Vogel
fans, do the shit right. Hype up games. Let's not be so divisive.
Yo, Vogel hit up the super chat. Thank you, my brother, for supporting the channel. Basically saying, looks like I'm just in time for a mega rant. And Vogel,
yes,
if you're just chiming in now, there was a couple mini rants throughout the whole show. You're definitely going to have to go back and watch it again, because this was classic. But Hyena, I do want to get your opinion about, with E3 leaving, is it starting to water down E3 this year, just in time for Xbox to have that main stage? I want to hear what you think about that, and then we're gonna wrap the show up, man.
So I definitely see that point of view, absolutely, because when Sony leaves, EA leaves, then you start hearing fans say, well, I'm not hyped for E3. I don't care what Microsoft's going to show. I don't care what Nintendo's going to show. It doesn't matter at that point. I understand those the frustration from people. Like I genuinely, there are Sony guys out there that are upset that Sony has ducked out of E3, and their entire hype for that entire event over the 4 days has just gone straight down the hill. And for me specifically, I've already said my piece about EA where they don't really interest me that much, but I understand the fans for them. For me, if Bethesda pulled out, that's when I can, I feel the exact same way that the EA fans do, or the Sony fans do, because I have most of my foundation as a gamer has been built off of Microsoft or Xbox, Nintendo, and Bethesda, especially during the 360 era. So if Bethesda ducked out, my hype for E3 would go downhill as well. When it comes to the point of it watering down the entire experience, I do agree that it can, to an extent, for certain
if another
people.
company says like they're not doing one, then definitely, brother, definitely,
like, and
that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's just it honestly, it is what it is. I do think they will be back next year, and obviously, I don't know for a fact or anything like that. It's just my assumption. I hope they'll all be back next year. As a fan, I just like seeing games. And God forbid Bethesda pulls out, because if they do, oh man, I'd be so upset personally. Even with Microsoft there, and I know Microsoft's going to bring some fire in a few months. I'd still be upset if Bethesda pulled out and they're like, well, we can't show off X, Y, and Z, So I understand why, people have their frustrations with everything that's going on right now, and feel that, they found the chink in Microsoft's armor for this E3, because, it is there.
Yeah, you can't be.
You really think so?
You can't be a shining jewel.
Is all because Sony's not there?
You can't be a shining jewel in a crown if half the crown is gone.
It's gone. Yeah. I mean, and this all really does boil down to perception. And I think, obviously, we've all heard the saying that perception is 9/10 of the law. And that on social media, that is the truth. If a lot of people keep banging their hands against this whole thing, saying, well, nobody's going to be there, it doesn't matter what Microsoft's going to show, then, that's just the perception. And it's going to turn into reality. And, it's unfortunate, but that we've seen it happen before. And it really is just what it is. I'm still excited to see what Nintendo has, Microsoft has, Bethesda has, Square Enix, if they have one again. Whoever else will be there, and hopefully next year Sony comes back and EA, and it'll be better for all the gamers.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, on that note, it is Saturday night. I believe we are all gamers on the panel. I know everybody in the chat is a gamer, and gamers got a game. So, guys, we have had an absolutely incredible show tonight. I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to our special guest, Hyena Den. Man, your first time on the show, dude, you hit a home run. I absolutely love talking games with you, and I hope you'll be on again, man, because I hope this isn't a one-time thing. We could get you on. I know you are part of kind of like my semi-secret project that I'm working on in the laboratory as well. That is going to be fire when that comes out as well. But
absolutely.
Why don't you let people know, what you're doing, what shows you're on, and about your YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below, people. Go ahead and click on that. Hit the subscribe button. You know the deal.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was really awesome to be on the next podcast and, talking with K-Mega again after, the last time we did with Boomstick. And
great fun,
talking with Xbot on podcast and Predator for the first time. It was really awesome. I do hope that it's not going to be the last time I appear in here. If there's any Forza news in the community, I am there with that fire. And I would love to educate people on this franchise that I love so much.
We gotta get you and Alan Walsh together, man.
Oh yeah, one day, one of these days, gotta make it happen.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like you said before, I am now a permanent member on the Saltiest Gaming podcast with all of those great guys over there every Thursday. And I also do, well, I have done the Den podcast on my own channel where it usually is Sundays if I am not busy. And most of my channel revolves around just, doing informative videos. I usually upload something once a month. The topics range very rapidly, but it's basically very informative stuff. So
Nice.
definitely check out my channel. That is linked in the description below. You can find me on YouTube at Hyena Space Den and on Twitter at Hyena Den Xbox Live.
Nice, brother. Just like a professional, which is what we try to look like here on this show. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes, it maybe a little bit. But
Professionals
again,
all the fucking time.
yeah. Well, speaking of professional, let's go with Pred. Pred, like you said, you weren't sure if you were gonna make it today. Of course, you got family over, and family is important. I am really, really glad you came in with your opinions tonight. Fire show. And you know the drill. Let people know if you're going to be a guest, if you're going to be doing guest appearances, and where they can go to talk games with you, man.
Predator _ H2OS on YouTube, on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, MySpace. So you can find me pretty much anywhere. And I've been invited to a couple of podcasts this week. I was pretty busy. I was actually asked to come on a crap show this past Wednesday, but I couldn't make it. But you never know. I may show up next week. I may show up on, Crossfire on Fridays or K Mega's channel on Saturday or Friday night. So obviously here every Saturday as much as possible. So make sure you guys send a like, subscribe to my channel, which I don't really put out content anymore, but definitely follow me on Twitter.
All right, brother. Yeah. And with that being said, K Mega, I know, man, work got crazy the past couple of days, and unfortunately, people didn't get their dose of GRG this Friday. You gotta let them know if it's definitely gonna be going down this coming Friday, and of course, let them know, where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Well, man, this is the thing, man. The hot season is just getting ready to get started while winter is getting out of here, and it looks like we're about to get hit. We got a Hobby Lobby that we building. We just built an Amazon building. We got a maps project out here in OKC that we're building. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I you know what I'm saying? I never have a set schedule. That's the whole thing with me. When you see me coming in and I'm talking about, we just getting started on the podcast. I just took a shower, washed my ass, and hopped in and just got ready to do GRG.
Well, dude,
sometime.
if you want, I'll just do GRG on my channel.
I mean, look, we might have to do that. I'm definitely, there were so many hot topics this week that tomorrow evening or Monday evening, we'll get a couple of people to come on and we'll talk about it, because I know that they wanted to talk about it. I know everybody was like, damn, really? And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm out there. I'm out here in the dark in the weeds doing work. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. I mean, I gotta make a living. So I gotta do the things that I could do so I can even have the content to be given to you guys. So GRG will still be here. It ain't going nowhere. It's just that, it's just whenever I can do it, or maybe I could have Triple Cup or 108 or 100 or somebody do the show for me while in my absence if I'm gone. But yeah, we'll still do it, and we'll definitely talk about a couple of things coming up this weekend, because I really want to get full in on my point, you know what I'm saying, about what I feel about what's going on. But yeah, you can check me out on my channel, KMega405. Thank you, Hyena, man. I hope this is the last time that we get to work together. And Pred, you know what I'm saying, just go somewhere else. And
ain't nothing bad. I was like, gave hype to your channel and everything, fuck boy.
Damn.
No, Pred's my boy, man.
Your balls fall through your ankles.
No, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. My balls can hang to my knees. Yeah. Anyway, let's do it. Anyway, thank you guys for real.
All right, and guys, be on the lookout on my Twitter page. It's at xbot448. I didn't get a chance to type in. We were going in on topics. I didn't get a chance to type in the poll. But K Mega will be in there. You can see my fire gameplay going on right now. Yeah, I brought Batman in on this, as well as
I brought new stuff, but
as well as dude, that was the first time I ever played Batman. All right, so that's new to me, and I do believe that's at least worth a little something. I'm saying
It
All right?
is. No, that's good. That's
All
good.
right.
That's good. Batman is dope game, man.
All right, but guys, like I said, it is Saturday night. The gamers got a game. We got to get those controllers in our hands. So I am gonna end the show the same way I end the show every Saturday. We will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
Deuces.
Penis, damn it.